Alright guys, so welcome. Daniel here. So this is a tutorial on Python programming language, and in this tutorial we'll be covering functions in Python programming language. So I made mention of these upcoming videos in my last video that I will be covering functions, which is a very important aspect in Python programming language. Not only in Python programming language, but in any programming language. So function is a very great aspect of any programming language. So I will also encourage you to go along with me. Whatever it is that I'm practically doing on this video, I will encourage you to do the same, have it practicalized by me. So don't just watch me doing this. So I want you to go along with me while I'm making this tutorial. So the theme of this is mastering functions in Python, a comprehensive guide. So I have a slide I'll be working with. So the video will be in kind of theoretical and practical aspect of it. So whatever it is that we see on the slide, we are going to practicalize it and see how it works in real life. So I've already set up my integrated development environment. I did it in the previous video. I will also include the link down in the comment section, so you go along if you have not watched the previous video. And I will also encourage you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, like my YouTube channel, comment about what you like, or maybe if there is any video I did not cover or anything that you don't understand at all, you can as well comment it down there so I can make a video about it. Also remember to turn on the notification bell so that whenever I drop a new video, you get notified. So the topic of this is mastering functions in Python, a comprehensive guide. So I have about 4 to 6 pages slide here we'll be working with. Then we're talking about the overview of overview of function in any programming language. Function is not only peculiar to Python. Any programming language, any high-level programming language uses Python to create modularity in such program. So by definition, a function is a block of code that performs a task or series of tasks in any programming language, and it must be called upon before it carries out this task. So what I mean in that aspect is this: a function is a block of code, a group of sentences or instructions, a recipe of instructions that are grouped in a blocks, and when the function is called, those tasks or those functions are being carried out. So it's also important to note that there are should I say type or kind of function. A function can be a library function or user-defined function. So user-defined functions are functions you, the programmer, defined by yourself. So you made this function to be easier for you. For instance, you define the function that can authenticate user, checking if the username and password is correct, then load them in. Or you can define a function that can accept 2 numbers and return the result. So the next one is library function. Library function is like primitive, built-in functions in any programming language. A good example of that is the print function. We use this print function the first time we wrote a program in Python that prints the word hello world. So the print is a function, is a library function in Python programming language that outputs anything you entered in it or anything you write. So on running this, you can see the text hello world printed on the console. So this is it. So print is a built-in function and is an example of function in Python programming language, but in this aspect is a library function. So the next on my slide here is the importance of using Python in any programming language. So but before that, let's write a function, a user-defined function. Since we've seen a library function, which is print is one of them, let's define our own function. So in this way, let's write a function. Let's define a function that prints the word hello world. Now we also have, even though we are inventing the wheel, I just want to show you the aspect of writing your own function. So to define a function in Python, you first of all write the keyword def followed by the name of the function. So in this place, we now say print hello world. So this is the name of our function. Now followed by opening parenthesis. Now, in this opening parenthesis, it accepts the parameters. The opening parenthesis, you write the list of parameters you are going to accept, that your function is going to accept whenever it is being called. So to define a function in Python, you start with the def keyword followed by the function name, open parenthesis, which will accept the list of parameters that this function will receive as an argument whenever it is called, then followed by a column. Column here defines a code block. Remember that we define a function as a group of statements or tasks enclosed in a block, and they get executed whenever the function is called. So we want this function to print the word hello world whenever it is called. So now, after this, you can run your program, then you will see that nothing gets printed. The program has executed and nothing gets printed. That is to tell you that a function must be called before it will carry out those specific tasks it is assigned to do. So to do that, when we come here, then we call the function. To call a function is very simple. Just type the name of the function, print hello world, followed by the opening parenthesis. If it has list of parameters, you enter them here as an argument. So in this aspect, it's called an argument, but in this place, it is called parameters. So, but our function was not given any, was not defined with any parameters. So when we go ahead executing this, the word hello world will get printed. You can see hello world getting printed here. So this is the definition of a function. By our definition, we say the function is a group of or a block of code enclosed in an opening and closing parentheses. It depends. So for that definition is for C++, C#, all those programming language that declares a code block with opening and closing and curly braces. So but in Python programming language, a function is a group of statements defined by a block, and it must be called before those instructions will get executed. So we've defined a function, we run our program, nothing happened. So the word hello world get printed when we call this function. So that goes along with our definition. You can as well take this further by writing something else here, something like Daniel, or let's say hello Daniel, and run the program. Then you will see it prints hello Daniel. So this is the definition that we gave on our slide. So on the third slide, we have importance of using a function. So I also want to encourage you to go along with me. You can go in with different theme here. Maybe you define a function that accepts two numbers. We can do that later in this video, but this is just a basic definition and a practical application of what function is all about in Python programming language. So the third one, we have the importance of using a function. Yeah, there is a reason for defining functions in your programming language. I mean, in any programming language, there's a reason a function is attached to it. And later in the future, we'll be giving you more aspect of building application. So you can't just keep on writing codes over and all over again, maybe repeating yourself or something like that. So there are object-oriented programming approach, which will enable you to use a class and house functions together and making your code more modular and reusable. So the importance of using function in Python programming language, not only in Python programming language, but in this aspect, we are focusing on Python programming language. The importance of using Python functions in Python programming language include code reusability. Now, take for instance about code reusability. I want to write a program that prints the word hello. Okay, let's say a program that takes user input and output those inputs. So, or okay, let me say I want to print a program that prints hello world into 10 places. Now, traditionally, I have to do this. Sorry, why did I take it out? I want to comment it out. Yeah. Traditionally, I have to do this print hello world. Then I'll now copy this and paste into 10 places. Come on, will you be doing this for how many times? But this is why from Python 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's more than 10 anyways, but let's go. So this is a program that prints the word hello world into 10 places. Can you look at this? You're repeating yourself. There is one rule in programming language that says keep it dry. I mean DRY, do not repeat yourself. So you can see here that we're repeating the word hello world, hello world, hello world, hello world, hello world. Assuming we want to write a program that authenticate 10 users, so we're going to write a program that say authenticate user, all the functionalities of authenticating user just here, and write it in 10 places. So this is the approach whereby one can use function to achieve this, or we can even use loop to achieve this. Instead of writing this into 10 places, we can use a loop, which we can say for, let me say underscore in range 10, then print hello world. Now this will get printed 10 times instead of doing those repetition of print hello world into 10 places. Once we run this, you can see that hello world is printed into 10 places or more. That should be 10, 0 to 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So from here they say the importance of using a function in any programming language is code reusability, and we can see ourselves reusing this code instead of us in kind of repeating ourselves over and over again. You can use it, or maybe you write a program that prints two numbers, or a program that add two numbers. Let's say program that adds two numbers. Now say define a function called add num. Then we say a, two parameters are a and b, which signifies the two numbers that are going to be accepted. So we sound say print a plus b. Now when we run this program, let's run this. We now say add number, let's say 2 plus 3. Then we are expecting to have 5 here. So let's test our program and see. And 5 gets printed because 2 plus 3 mathematically is 5. So this is an example of code reusability. For instance, I want to add 5 and 10. Instead of me writing this code again, I can just come down here and call the function add num and pass 5 and 10. Then it will give me the output, which is the summation of 5 and 10. This is 15, which is correct for the last one. This is 5, which is correct for the first one. So that is a good example of code reusability in using function in Python programming language. Then the next one is modularity. When we're talking about modularity, function in any programming language helps your code to be modular. For instance, you have a function that adds 2 numbers, you have another function that multiplies 2 numbers, you have another function that does user authentication. Now, modularity, whereby in this aspect is you keep these functions in a separate file and import those files. We are going to cover this in the later videos anyways. The importation of files in Python programming language, how to import libraries in Python programming language. So modularity of your code is making your code modular to be in kind of reusable, and this is a best software engineering approach by using a function aspect or using object-oriented approach to keep your program modular. Then the next one is readability. Yeah, it's obvious that writing print hello world into 10 places and using this is more readable than in kind of all those repetition of print hello world, print hello world, print hello world. So function, the advantages of using function in Python programming language includes code reusability, modularity, and readability. Then the next, as far on our slide here, is buzzwords in Python functions. Now, buzzwords in kind of all those words that are commonly used in a particular field. So in this approach, Python programming language, especially the function, so we have buzzwords in in Python programming language, which is buzzwords in functions Python programming language, of which one of them is positional arguments. So we're going to treat this one after the other. We have positional arguments, keyword arguments, default arguments. On our next slide, we still have variable scope. We have first class functions, higher order functions, And the next one will have recursion, decorators, and closures. So let's start from here. So we have positional arguments. So I need to write a code to clearly make you understand what positional argument is in Python programming language. So let's define a function called def greet user. Now this function will take the user's name to greet the person. To be like if you enter something, okay, let's say the user details here. Let's say print user detail, or should I say get user details here. This will be the perfect name, get user details. It will receive them parameters like username, email, or just say username and age. Yeah, so these are the two parameters we're going to receive whenever we call this function. So we have a function named get user details, which includes the username and the age. Now say print let's use an f string here. Don't worry about this if you don't know what f string is. I'll be detailing this more later in my next videos, and probably on request I'll be making video. If there is anything you don't understand here, find it worthy to let me know down in the comment section below. I'll be glad to make video concerning this and detail more about that. So we have username, then username, then we now say age, then we now say age. So that's that. So when we call this function, we now say get user details. We now pass my name is Daniel, or let me just use John Doe, and he is 35. Now once we run this program, you can see John Doe, age, username John Doe, age 35. Now this is the aspect of positional argument. It means that any value, the first argument you pass to this function represent the username, then the last argument you pass to this function represents the age. So if you are making it in such a way that if you interchange them, that would be wrong. So positional argument expects that anything you pass, positional argument means anything you pass here represents username, and anything you pass here represent the age. So if you interchange them, that would be in kind of not making any sense even after printing them the details, something like this. Oh, sorry about that. So if you print it this way, it won't make any sense. Username 35, age John Doe, it doesn't make any sense. So that is about positional arguments. Then next on our slide is keyword argument. Yeah, so for keyword argument, excuse me, okay, now for keywords argument in Python programming language, arguments that are passed by explicitly naming each parameters and specifying its value. So let's still use this function as an example. Let's comment this out and come back here. So using a keyword argument in functions, Python programming language, is in kind of specifying the parameter's name and the value you want to assign to it. So let's say get user details. Now here I will say username is John Doe, then age is 35. So 35. So this is a keyword argument. Before it was positional argument. Or when you run this, now this is the difference it will make. This is it. Then let's run this again by interchanging the username and age. Now this is age and this is username. So when we run this, it will still maintain the same order. Can you see that username John Doe, even though we've interchanged their positions, but in keyword argument it still maintain, it's assigned that value particular to it, no matter the position you assign to those things whenever they are passed as an argument to the functions. Then the next one here is default argument. Now for default argument, we want to give a default argument to a function. Let's say get let's define another function like let's say greet user. Let's say something like that, def greet user. Then by saying username is Daniel, then age or something like that. Should I use age? Yeah, username Daniel, then qualification, or let's just use only this, so to make it simpler and easier. Now let's go now say print hello. Let's use f string here. Print hello username. Now this is very simple, so let's run this program and see. Let's comment this out so we don't get two things printed on our so now let's run this program and see. When you run this program, you will see, oh sorry, I didn't call the function. I've gone against the rule that says the function must be called or invoked before. You must invoke the function before you get executed. So let's say greet user, then I didn't pass anything here. So now you can see initially this function accepts an argument on calling it, but since there is a defined argument here, from here, since there is a default argument provided to it, I don't need to pass anything to it. So you can execute it without passing any argument, or you can pass any argument to override the default argument. So when I first run the program, it should now say hello Daniel, but how about I pass my first name here, Udokike, then it will now say hello Udokike instead of Daniel. So there are many ways to tweak this, so I would like you to play along with this. Just find a way, changing the name, creating a different functions of the choice, or maybe in kind of just make something fun. Play with this. That is how you get used to them. That is how you get used to them. That's the way. So don't just watch me doing this. I will also appreciate you go along with me. If you encounter any problem or anything, just feel free to chat me down in the comment section, or I'll be very glad to make a video about it, or maybe give the explanation under the comment section. So the next one we have here is under buzzwords in Python, we have variable scopes. So let me quickly explain these ones, because this video is taking more than expected. So I have some snippets of code I'll be using for this. So for variable scopes, yeah, so I have some snippets of code. Yeah, okay, let's go with this one. Now for variable scopes, let me comment this out. Just let me know if you need these snippets of code. I mean the codes I've written there, if you need them, but it's just simply something that you can play around with. Python is the way you learn Python is by in fact the way you learn anything is by practicing it consistently. So you can't watch me doing it and you expect to get everything, although it might work best for you in whichever way you find yourself learning this, but I'll be glad if you are going along with me. So for variable scopes in Python, yeah, let's use this. Now we have a function that says some numbers. Sorry, not this. Oh, sorry, I got the wrong one. Let me take this down. Let me go to my snippets and get yeah. So now variable scope. So I can equally write this code as well. Like if you have a variable here, let's say num or age equals 20, then we'll now define print user age. Then I will now say, come down here and say x equals 30, then print age equals 30, then print age. Okay, now look at this very well. if you look at this very well, when we're talking about variable scopes, we define age here, and let's come down here and print age as well. Now we define a variable here named age. We define another variable here named age. Now the variable scopes here means that the scope of this variable called age only ends within this function. You can't get this variable outside this function. The visibility of this variable called age only ends within the block of this function print user age. But then this one only ends entirely as possible as anywhere that is accessible in this file, or even outside this file. You can import this particular age. So when we run this program, you can see 20 get printed. Oh, I didn't call this function rather. Sorry for that. That's why we didn't have them. The other one. We now say print user age. So I'll have first of all have 30 printed followed by 20. Now I have 30 and 20. 30 is the one within the function, and that is the scope of that variable. It will never go out of the scope, and it is not accessible out of the scope. Then the next one we have here is first class functions. So let me quickly explain first class functions and higher order functions. So first class functions, excuse me, let me get the snippet, of course. So first class functions are like kind of a first class citizens. They can be passed as an argument to other functions. So a function receiving another function, for instance, you want to a function that authenticates users. If they are actually logged in, then and they are clicking on login button, instead of showing them the login field, then you put them directly to their user dashboard. Or maybe a user trying to register while an account is already existed, then you put the person directly to the it's in kind of a decorator. So the first class function is a situation whereby a function is passed to another function as an argument. It returns a value from other functions and assigned to a variable. So that's basically what the first class function is all about. Then higher order functions take other functions as an argument and return to a function as its result. So the differences there is one assigns to a variable and the other one assigns to other as a result. I mean, higher order functions receives an argument or returns a function as a result. So that's basically it. So let me give a snippet of code I have here for higher order functions. This video is taking longer than expected. All right. Okay, let me take this down. So here, okay, so sorry. I copied more than expected, so I don't know. Oh, wow. I've messed up with my code, so I don't know why. Okay, let me take it down from here. All right, yeah. So for higher order functions, I have some snippet for the explanation here. Okay, now we have a function called increment. So it takes an argument, a parameter, and increase the parameter by 1. Then we have apply function. Now you can see here we have a function that we accept as another argument, then a value that you want to increment. So basically what it does is we call the function with the value, and after which we return the function as a result. And that's basically what we're doing here. Once you run the program, you see the output. You can see 11, then we pass in here 10.
Okay. So what the code actually does here is, the apply function. This is an increment, and this is the apply function. It receives the apply function receives a function and a value. So it now returns by calling the function, passing it a value, and returns whatever it is that this function returns. So that's what's happened in the higher order function. So next thing we're going to cover here is okay, we'll talk about variable scope, first class functions, higher order functions. Then we'll have about three buzzwords in Python functions to end this video. So I also want you to know that these are not the buzzwords that are used in Python programming language. So there are a lot of them. So I just picked this one specifically to Python programming language. Functions in Python programming language that we're going to use to make this video quite interesting. So if there's any buzzwords here you want me to talk more on, or maybe is there is anything that I explained wrongly here, so just feel free to let me know down in the comment section. I enjoy the fact that I'm learning with you. So let's keep the collaboration high and high. So the next one is recursion. Now the idea of recursion is in a function calling itself maybe to achieve a particular result. You remember all those primary school mathematics? Okay, sorry, secondary school mathematics that will solve factorial. So these are the factorial of a number works. Let's say 5 factorials is a successive multiplication of the numbers. For instance, if you're asked to find the factorial of 5 is 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5. That is 5 factorial. So the same thing is applied in something like 10 factorial, or 20 factorial should be 1 times 2, or 20 times 19 times 18 times 17 times 16, from there down to 1. So that's how the factorial of a number works. So the recursion here works the best for this. For instance, we are told to find a recursion of, let's say, sorry, factorial of 5. So I have some snippets of code here as well for this. So let's say find 5 factorial. I'm still using this file. Let me comment this one out. So focus on the factorial alone. So you're told to find 5 factorial or 10 factorial. Let's start with 5. So if you're not to find 5 factorial now, let me run the code first, then explain what is happening under the hood. Okay, let me run the code. Now you can see 120 here. You can as well make the check of 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. That will give you 120. So now look at this very well. This is how it works. The recursion in functions. Now, a function calling itself, this is what is happening here. Now, for our termination to happen, we have whenever the value decreases to 1, then we'll stop there. Else, what we'll do is we'll return n, which is 5 times factorial of n minus 1. N is 5 in this aspect. This should be 5 times 4 because this is factorial. We're calling this function passing the number minus 1. So for the second phase of this, n becomes 4. Here we are doing 5 times 4 times 3. That is how it works all down to 1. That's how recursion works in Python. Not only in Python, recursion of a function is applicable in any respectable programming language. So that's that. Then you can as well change this. It's not only limited to 5, you can change this to 10 or 120. But remember, this depends how fast it runs depends on your system. Imagine entering factorial of 1 million. Is that 1 to 3, 1 to 3, more than a million? If you do this will take really long time. So depending on your project, you can see maximum recursion depth is 6. So it depends. So it depends on the memory of your system and something like that. So let me check 1000 if I can get that. I don't know, even scientific calculator can process factorial of 1000. How about 100? If that works. Wow, Jesus. Can you see these really long numbers? Oh, okay, but that's that. That is for the factorial. Wow. It's even hanging my system to do that. Okay, let's bring down to 1, sorry, 5, the place it was before, and run. We'll have 120 here. Then the next on our slide there is decorators. Now, decorators is in kind of a function, taking another function, modifying that function, and return the result. I made an example of that. For instance, you are taking a function to authenticate users, then another function that encloses that is a kind of a wrapper function to a function. Now, you are checking if the user is authenticated and the person is clicking on logged in, on login, while the person is already logged in. Then instead of displaying the login field to the person, you grant the person access automatically to the dashboard. But if not, then you redirect the person to the user login. I also have a snippet for that. This video is actually taking longer than expected, so that's why I'm providing a lot of what's it called, snippet for this. So let's go with this. I have another one. This for decorators. Let me comment this one out. Okay, so this is it. Now, this is a function. You can name this anything. It mustn't be my decorator. Should I say a phone, or let's say outer function? Then you replace this with outer function. Then that's that. Once you run this, then you have the same result. Now, this is what it does. It takes this function. Then this is what this wrapper function is supposed to print. And this wrapper function calls this one. Now, just let's take a look at the output first before I go on to the explanation. Now, it first of all gets the word hello. First of all, printed something is happening before the function is called. And how did we get this hello? Look at this here. We say hello, and say hello is called by the function that we accepted. The function is passed to this outer function, the wrapper function, then print this. After printing this, you execute the hello function which prints the word hello. The other doesn't matter. So that's how it works. Decorators function. It has many use cases. A good example is authenticating user. If they're authenticated, you log them in. If kind of someone clicking the login button while the person is already logged in. But the best practice is never display the login button once the user is logged in. You can display the logout button to the user or something like that. So the last here is closures. Yeah, the last buzzwords we have here, not the last one, but let's say the one we have here now is closures in Python programming language. So the closure works like that of decorators, which has the outer function and the inner function. Then you're returning the inner function. So in this way, when you call the outer function, the alpha function takes the message that's supposed to be executed, then returns the inner function, which is the one that's going to execute the function. So which is the actual function that is supposed to be executed. So there are many use cases whereby this function is this buzzwords or this approach of defining function is applied to. But I don't want to make you overwhelmed. So the essence of these buzzwords is just for you to get familiar with them. In whichever way, I'll be making video particularly to any of them, maybe to give a proper explanation. This is a mastering a comprehensive guide, and it kind of making you know more about them. And I want you to take your time to learn more about it. So I'm here to give you a guide, and you're also here to make me feel as if I'm doing something. So you're also here to kind of appreciate me. The appreciation is in kind of following me up while we learn together. So no one knows it all, no one is an island of knowledge. We are here to share, collaborate, and learn more. Then for the closures in Python programming language, excuse me. All right. For the closures, let me comment this out, please. Sorry, I didn't get that. Okay. All right. Now, for the outer function, the inner function, print message, just understand the level of execution here. That's what matters a lot. And it depends on the implementation, whatever it is you want to apply. Now, look at the outer function. The outer function receives a message, and the inner function is within this outer function. So, whenever you call, whenever you call the, what's it called? Whenever you call the outer function, what do you think? The inner function is going to be executed because it's within there. So whenever you call the outer function passing a message, on getting to this inner function, the message is printed. Now, once you are returning this inner function, it means that after this level of execution here, for the outer function, for the inner function to get executed, remember that you must call a function before it gets executed. But the only difference here is that you can notice that this inner function was not called with opening and closing braces. I mean, bracket. So now this, it is called unexecuted. So on calling this function is to let this one execute, passing this message and assigning it to my phone. So my phone now is now assuming to be a function, and calling it here executes everything. So the number of closures here is this function is taking care of this, print this message, and for this one to get executed, it is called here unexecuted, and the whole process is print out the word hello world. Just a level of, can you imagine? Why can't you do print hello world? Yeah, you can. So, but the reason for this, it has many use cases. Another way, thank you very much for staying along with me. I really appreciate. If you love what I'm doing, comment what you like down in the comment section below. Maybe you need any specific video about the explanation or anything, let me know down in the comment section. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, give me a thumbs up, click on the notification icon so that whenever I release new videos, you get notified about those videos. I also want to share some important thing with you. I will include them down in the comment section below for you to get, maybe where you can get resources learning Python programming language. So you can use Udemy, you can use Coursera, you can use Geek for Gigs. There are many platforms you can learn, so you don't have any excuse not to learn. So thank you very much for staying along with me, and keep safe.